Okay, I'm back in the city. As you can all see, I am back in the city. I'm here in my house in Capitolio, Pasig. Welcome to the program agenda. I'm your host, Cito Beltran. And if you're wondering, anong nakain itong si Beltran at may pakanta-kanta pang Barry Manilow? That is the consequence of being sleepless. Perhaps because it is a consequence of new environment, adjusting to the city coming from the province. But all is good. We are back in the city, and today is December 13, 2021. It's a Monday. Welcome to another week and welcome to the program agenda. Thank you for joining us and thank you for being subscribers of Signal TV and viewers of One News PH here on channels 8 and 250. To get the day started, let's go to our regular daily starter. He who refreshes others will himself be refreshed. That is from Proverbs 11:25. And I just want to share this with all of you because once again, the good Lord, our God Almighty, reinforced this and proved this to me. In the last couple of weeks, I have had to willingly, generously assist certain people, family members who were facing some challenges, financial need. And of course, because we are blessed by the Lord to be a blessing to others, then we must help out any, especially during this season. Baka meron kayong mga kamag-anak dyan or relatives that in real need, no? Hindi po yung dahil Pasko in need o may need, okay? But you would be well advised to help them because I for one can testify that as I refreshed or helped others, the good Lord refreshed me. Now, this is not always, peso for peso, pound for pound, ika nga nila, what you give is what you get in return. That is not always the case. I mean, sometimes you end up giving more, sometimes you end up giving less and getting more in return. But in my case, I have seen how God will always refresh us with things that really speak to us, gets our attention. For me, I helped out financially, and in the last couple of weeks, may mga dumating akong kaibigang nirigaluhan ako ng paborito kong bagay. My favorite thing in life, the one that makes tilaok, roosters, as you know. And I publicly admit, I'm a breeder. I love to breed. I don't gamble. And I got certain breeds that were really unexpected and a blessing. So yun po, no? I'm just saying that he who refreshes others will himself be refreshed. And if you keep your hands open, God can put his wealth upon your hands to share it with others. If you keep them tight, if you are tight-fisted, ika nga nung mga tao dyan sa paligid, alam mo, matigas ang kamao niyang kandidato na yan. Anong matigas ang kamao? Ayaw magbigay. So that's our daily starter for today. Binabati ko lang po si Ginoong Densko, ang napakabuting kaibigan natin dyan sa Calasiao, Pangasinan. I hope you are having a good day, my friend. And don't forget to feed my pony, my little pony. Alam mo na yung ibig ko sabihin doon. And just a greeting to Mr. Florante Vicuña. The early bird, kasi ito pong si Mr. Vicuña keeps sending messages and I really appreciate, although sorry if I'm not able to respond kasi ako po ay abalang naghuhugas ng mga pader at naglilinis ng bahay. And of course, to my newfound friend, Paulo Hizon, thank you for the visit this weekend. Hope to see more of you. Okay, now let's go to the front page of the Philippine Star. And the headlines, the Philippines dropped ball again on 50 million syringes, according to Secretary of Foreign Affairs, Teddy Boy Locsin. The story is about how the secretary had tried to source or was negotiating or trying to find supplies for the special syringe for Pfizer vaccines. It's called Pfizer loaded volume syringes. And he was trying to orchestrate, organize these arrangements in the United States, I believe, because that's where the Pfizer is based. And it seems that the Philippine counterpart, presumably at the Department of Health, did not do anything about it. So, as a result, we lost out on procuring or getting 50 million syringes at a great price of 7 cents per syringe. Eh, ito po, no, kasi pinagpipilitan daw ng Department of Health or whoever it was that's supposed to be supposed to have handled the matter, that they could get the syringes for 4.7 cents, okay? Si Luxin pointed out that even the UNICEF pays double the 7 cents. How on earth can the Philippines get it for 4.7 cents? Kumbaga, mission impossible. But perhaps, Secretary Luxin, the reason the Philippine counterpart could claim 4.7% is because bibili sila nung made in China version, 'di ba? 'Yun po, no? Now, Secretary Locsin in his tweet also called for the for making all purchases related to COVID and government purchases public. Ay nako, matagal na po naming sinasabi yan. So once again, the Philippines dropped the ball on 50 million syringes like it dropped the ball on Pfizer vaccines last December 2020. The question is, when will President Rodrigo Duterte finally drop kick the person who keeps dropping the ball? Kasi sa basketball, sa football, sa volleyball, pagka ganyang lalampalampa ka o nilalaglag mo yung laro, eh tanggal ka sa team. Okay, no more commentary, no more editorializing. It's the front page of the Philippine Star, not Chito Beltran. Okay, let's go to the header. FDA reviews Pfizer EUA for kids under 12 years old. The Food and Drug Administration recently announced that they are now reviewing the application of Pfizer for emergency use authority to use their vaccine for children from 5 to 11 years old. And if all goes well, based on the data that the FDA will study, they expect that the EUA will be approved. The application for EUA will be approved by the end, before the year end. Okay, so yung pong yung Pfizer vaccine is already approved in the United States, Canada, the European Community, and in Australia. Now, back to the front page of the Philippine Star. Picture muna. Yan pong picture na yan ay picture of a family that is doing a selfie. Selfie pa ba yun? Kasi groupie. Groupie yan eh, okay? At the exhibit of Marian Images in Quezon City, because they were celebrating the Feast of the Immaculate Conception last week. Okay. And further in the front page, 574 travelers from Omicron-affected countries positive for Delta, based on the genome sequencing of the Philippine Genome Center. 574 out of a total of we don't know because it was never reported. Uh, okay, 574, puro Delta. They all had Delta COVID variant. No one had Omicron. Uh, why are we even focusing on that? But it is part of news gathering and part of social concern. We are always looking for the bad news. Okay, now there you go. In Bowling Green, Kentucky, residents look at the damage following a tornado that struck the area December 11. Tornadoes ripped through 6 U.S. states overnight, leaving at least 83 people dead. Yan po, no, yan ang masaklap tayo dito, bagyo, na nalalaglagan, nalulunod, etc. In the United States and other countries, they have tornadoes, super, super strong whirlwind winds that basically just destroy anything and everything in its path. We pray that these communities, those families will be able to somehow recover in spite of having to kiss their Christmas celebrations goodbye. Okay, and back to the front page, government holds all labor inspections. The Department of Labor and Employment Secretary Silvestro Bello has ordered the stop of all dole inspections of companies, yung mga safety inspection, management, etc., except for those that directly concern occupational safety. Okay? Because alam naman nyo, Pasko, baka mamaya merong mamasko. Okay? And that is a policy that the DOLE has adopted through the years. No inspections just before Christmas. Okay? But those inspections, ladies and gentlemen, are very important because DOLE inspections cover whether companies pay PhilHealth, SSS, Pag-ibig, whether you have first aid equipment in your company, whether there is a safety officer, and if you do fire safety drills, etc. So please do not look at it as a form of harassment or added burden. It is intended so that if something goes wrong, you are equipped and ready to deal with it. Kasi kung may magkasakit kayong empleyado, iba na yung may SSS, may PhilHealth. Kung meron naman maging sunog, iba na rin yung meron kayong fire extinguisher, may fire escape, etc., etc. Better the thousands of pesos you spend now than paying millions of pesos for dead people and going to jail. Okay. And next up, COMELEC, the Commission on Election, and the company YouTube will verify candidates' official accounts and will provide a seal, okay? Verified badge. Kumbaga, basta account, meron nang nakalagay na badge doon sa account na yon while they are posting videos, etc., so that the COMELEC can verify if a certain account, and YouTube can verify if a certain account is the official account of a candidate here in the Philippine elections, or it is a plagiarism, fake account, or a independent operator. That's going to be good to minimize and to be able to quickly block unauthorized publicity, electioneering campaigns, etc. Sana po ay mapuntahan na rin ng COMELEC lahat yung mga isang tao. Anyway, well, they say they can't do anything about it. All those billboards on the national highways, sobra na, grabe na. Bigay nyo na lang sa mahirap yung billboard nyo, pambubong nila. Okay. And back to the front page of the Philippine Star. Tally of Philippine cases as of December 12, kahapon Sunday, confirmed new cases 402. nationwide, which means that our number of cases are really going down and spreading really thin. However, tumaas na naman po ang number of deaths, 184 ang namatay po kahapon, and as I expected, 50,280 na ang namatay na Pilipino. I hope that Malacanang and our national leaders would have enough realization and perhaps call for a national day of mourning or a day or an hour of silence. Kumbaga, 2-minute, 3-minute silence nationwide at an agreed time so that we can pay respect to all our friends, families, healthcare workers, Filipinos, all the 50,280 thus far who have died because of COVID-19. Maybe that will also bring to realization for many that there are so many Filipinos who have died. Okay, excuse me. Next up, uh, Odette, tropical depression Odette to enter the Philippines on Tuesday. Okay, the tropical depression Odette is expected to go into a full-scale typhoon. At the rate it's going, it will enter the Philippine area of responsibility tomorrow and expected to have landfall to make landfall by Wednesday in eastern Visayas and Caraga. And according to what I read, if it continues developing at the rate it's doing, and because of the environmental situation in its path, chances are Odette could actually has the potential of even reaching signal number 4. So medyo bantayan po natin yan. Let's watch that. I'm not sure about how this thing will turn out, but sana iwasan mo naman yung mga pupuntahan ng mga maraming Pilipinong namamasyal, Odette. Pumunta ka na lang dun sa dagat, diyan ka na lang sa dagat. Okay. And further down the Philippine Star, you have the Toyota Motor Philippines receiving the prestigious Philippine Quality Award from the national government for performance excellence in recognition of its exemplary organizational performance in total quality management. Giving the award is Bureau Director Lilian Salonga, and receiving the award is TMP Vice Chairman David Go. Okay. Ayan po, congratulations to Toyota for their excellence in management. Okay. Now, ito po yung malungkot na balita. Pumapalag. Okay. Relatives of the 3 heroes who have been featured in the 1,000 peso bill, namely General Vicente Lim, World War II hero, Josefa Llanes Escoda, founder of the Girl Scouts of the Philippines and prime mover of women's suffrage or the right of women to vote, and Jose Abad Santos of the Supreme Court, okay, Chief Justice, if I'm not mistaken, who refused to cooperate with the Japanese during the occupation, okay. Their relatives are now protesting, not violently naman, but they're expressing their indignation and the offense that their relatives have been replaced by the Philippine Eagle. Kumbaga medyo okay lang yung may eagle, 'di ba? Pwede sa likod na lang yung eagle, sa harap yung mga heroes. Compromise laang, no? But anyway, the three heroes were replaced by the Philippine monkey-eating eagle in the new version of the 1,000 peso bill. Okay. Yan po ang nakakalungkot in our desire for change, for refreshing our system and our currency. Sometimes we kind of find conflict. Anyway, last but not the least, there you go. Good job, SM, as a government partner in its COVID-19 vaccination campaign. SM was given a special recognition by the IATF for having administered more than 6.5 million jobs at 71 SM malls nationwide. Pati nga po, doon sa Lipa, City, Batangas, ang naging center of vaccination was the SM Mall. Okay? Yan po. No? So, congratulations to SM management and all of its branches and its personnel who have contributed in achieving such a success for the benefit of the Filipinos. Hindi lang po sila nagbebenta ng produkto at nagpapatugtog ng Merry Christmas sa inyo. Sila po ay tumutulong. And that's an interesting and very welcome change on the part of business. Kasi San Miguel Corporation, nakikita nyo naman, naging proactive in helping people, particularly at the start of the pandemic when they gave out alcohol, food, etc., and PPEs, testing kits, and then SM did it, and the Razon Group did it. Joey Concepcion has been doing it. So welcome. It's a welcome change that instead of just being known for profit, that Filipino businesses, Filipino businessmen and companies are now recognized and respected for having a heart and having social responsibility. Okay, let's now go to the main part of the program, and we will go into politics. So, Arvic, pasok mo na yung plug mo for the elections before I bring in our first guest who is a senatorial candidate. Okay. Bilang Pilipino. Okay, our first guest today, medyo kumbaga na-stereotype. Na-stereotype siya as one of those young guys who primarily promotes entrepreneurship, how to do business, making money, franchise, etc. So I have to confess, kahit na nakasama ko ito in my previous employment, which was ABS-CBN, I did not really think of him as a nurse. Pero ano pala siya? Siya pala ay graduate ng BS Nursing from the University of Santo Tomas. He has a master's degree. Meron palang master's in nursing, pamantasan ng lungsod ng Maynila, Doctors of Humanities, Lorma College, and he was enrolled, I don't know kung nakagraduate, tatanungin natin, executive program in international management from Stanford University and National University of Singapore, and received a certificate in entrepreneurship at De La Salle College of St. Benilde, a guy who is well known also as a businessman and as a broadcaster for business, none other than Ginoong Carl Balita. Carl, good morning.
Good morning, Sir Sito. Magandang araw sa iyo. Yeah. Ganda ng introduction. Salamat po. Natapos ko po 'yon. It's an executive program in international management. Nakalimutan lang po na yung doctorate degree ko po is with Pamantasan Lungsod ng Maynila. I'm a doctor of education, sir. Aside from being a registered nurse, I'm also a registered midwife, and I'm also a licensed professional teacher. So I hold 3 professional licenses and two doctorate degrees.
Ano ka ba, isa ka ba dun sa mga ADHD-ng mga bata na sa sobrang kulit, sobrang likot, eh, lahat ng educational program pinapasok?
Yeah, well, I was undiagnosed, but my teacher will assert na had there been ADHD, diagnosis at the time that I was a child, I was in elementary, I should have been diagnosed as one because of my
Ah,
behavior. Yeah, but
okay, but Carl,
I found myself kasi responsible because I'm in the business of reviewing people for the board exams. So I felt duty bound to really prepare
oh,
myself in the highest level of education that I could reach.
okay, Carl, I hope you don't mind, no? Kasi alam ko naman na medyo elevated ka na in terms of your training, your certification. Pero marami kasing mga tao curious pa rin sa mga beginnings ng ating mga kandidato. And
Yeah.
even as I mentioned, kahit na nagkasabay tayo noon sa Channel 2, eh hindi ko rin alam yung pinagmulan mo. Now, here, it says that you took up BS nursing, you have a master's degree in nursing, etc., etc. But which came first? And bakit iba-iba, parang nakakalitong basahin. Sabi ko parang ang hirap i-connect the dots nitong career ni Carl eh.
Uh, well, I started from the province. I was a provinciano from Mindoro. I took up
Mhm.
nursing by initially by interest to go overseas for my parents and for my family. But I realized I ended up in the academe. Then finding my way out. I want to be very independent of in the pursuit of my dreams. So I went into business. Tapos nung nasa business ako, na-discover ako ni Sir Peter Musngi to be
Mhm.
part of his show as his co-host for Radyo Negosyo, which is now 20 years. No? Actually, 20 years yung program until the pandemic set in. At it became
Okay.
my show. Opo. Hindi po nakakalito, Sir Sito. Rather, it's really connected because I'm in the academe. I became a teacher and a doctor of education to become a better nurse educator and to become better in helping the almost 1 million now. Opo.
Okay.
1 million na kasi halos po yung dumaan sa bridge ko in my review center. At, I did not believe that I knew enough at that time or I was branded enough just to focus on it. So I thought that higher education as a lifelong learner was essential in the pursuit of my responsibility for my clients. Actually,
Mm.
madali i-connect yung dot. Tatlo lang ho yung dot ko eh.
Oh.
Kalusugan, health professional that I am, yung karunungan, which is education, and of course, yung kabuhayan, because these are all determinants of prosperity, of life and living.
Okay, medyo ibang-iba yung nakakausap kong Carl ngayon kaysa yung Carl na nadidinig ko sa radyo. Kasi sa radyo, very down to earth ka, masang-masa ka. Pagkatas ngayon sandali, mukhang di kalibre itong batang to ah.
Uh,
Just to set it up, no? You took up nursing, that wasn't enough for you. You took a master's degree in nursing, and then you got into tutorial review centers for nursing kasi nakita mo yung katotohanan o yung mga hamon sa mga gustong maging nurse. Correct?
mhm. Yes, that's correct.
Okay,
And other
ngayon,
professionals po. And
okay,
other
ngayon,
professionals.
sandali, yung nursing na yan, kasi Carl, alam mo, meron din naman akong mga napaaral, isa sa mga napaaral ko, nag-nursing, siya yung nabiktima nung batch ba na merong naging issue sa exam, sa testing, and kawawang bata, naka 2 takes yata siya o 3 takes dahil talagang pinahirapan yung mga testing na sumunod, no? Now,
Mhm.
anong masasabi mo? What can you say about review centers and the testing methods in the Philippines? Kasi may mga nagsabi, hello, kaya bakit kailangan pa natin ipatest yung mga nurses natin? Dapat doon pa lang sa kolehiyo nila, they should already be qualified and certified. And if they don't qualify based on that, those nursing schools should be closed.
Well, the board exam po is essential because this is a
Mm.
regulated profession. And it's not actually only certification, it's actually licensure. Because
Mm.
the interest of public health rests on the competencies of those graduates. And in all mechanisms po, especially for global recognition, kailangan natin ng licensure exam because it's not enough that you come from a higher education institution because there has to be a government agency to give that license. And of course, check on the competencies. It's just like, an exit test. The exit
Yeah.
test happens in the school, but the certification and the licensure happens in the PRC so that they become globally licensed professional po.
Okay, you actually own review centers, right?
Yes.
Several review centers all over the country. Now, what can you say about the state of nursing schools? Kasi umabot tayo sa punto na maraming pinasara, and dahil maraming pinasara, kumonti ang nurse. And now they're even talking about a global shortage of nurses. Now, what is the reality of nursing schools in the Philippines? Kasi meron namang matitino talaga, but overall,
Yeah. Like, kalalabas lang po ng result ng nurses licensure examination the other night. And the passing was around 30+%. It's usually
oh,
average 30 to 40%, which is good po. Good because talagang yung Board of Nursing natin are very discerning on that. Kasi tayo po yung one of the number one global suppliers of nurses. But more
yeah.
importantly, we have to create nurses who are the best for the Filipinos and who will remain to be the choice of the world. Ako po, I have nothing against licensure, lalo na with the Board of Nursing that we have, the quality of nurses in the Board of Nursing that we have. But there's a lot of improvement that we can take for the nursing education, lalo na po ngayon in the pandemic and in the post-pandemic era. Kasi alam nyo, ang nursing po, ang competencies niyan, hindi lang cognitive eh. Meron kaming skills, malaking bagay yung skills. And how can you learn skills by just watching Zoom or just watching a video? It's really we'll have to be hands-on. And that's what is most challenging in these pandemic times. You're right, sir. Noong 2020, we celebrated the Year of the Nurses and the Midwives in the world. The WHO declared that. And they mentioned really that we need millions and millions of nurses all over the world to address the aging population. At saka yung sa US po, ang issue ngayon, hindi yung nag-increase ang demand, kung hindi maraming nagre-resign, maraming nagli-leave. At sa kanila, nursing is already an aging population. Kaya ang replacement dyan would have to come from countries like Philippines. And we
Yeah,
are
but
prepared.
yeah, but Carl, you're running for the Senate, okay? You want to be a senator, so that will essentially be all about legislation. Now, what would you legislate to improve the test results? Kasi clearly, the licensure board, the PRC, doing its job and doing it well. And if we have test success rates of only 30%, Houston, we have a problem. Kung senador ako, patatawag ko na lahat ng mga dekano ng mga eskwela na yung universidad na yan. Mga tinamaan kayo ng ewan. Anong karapatan nyo? 30% lang na ipapasa.
Yeah, that's on the average, Sir Sito, no? And over the
Yeah.
years, ang talaga kailangan po rin nating i-align yung the content of the licensure examination and the outcomes of nursing education. And that can be hindi naman masyadong stricto yung Board of Nursing kung hindi talagang mahirap po talaga ang board exam because it will test critical thinking and a lot of those hindi po siya hindi siya ABCD lang na ang tatanungin sa iyo very clear parang mathematics, but it's really deep thinking and critical thinking. At minsan madalas doon po sumasablay ang graduates. And I will have to agree with you na we really have to call them together so that there's going to be an alignment of what the outcomes of education is and the board exam content. Pero it's happening now, Sir Sito. We have a new curriculum. The product of that new curriculum is this batch graduating. Yung nga lang, sumabay po tayo sa pandemic and the impact of the pandemic in education. Marami pong kailangang ayusin. And Sir Sito, hindi lang po ito totoo sa sa nursing. Totoo din to with other professions. Generally, mababa po ang passing, even accountancy, even medicine, among others. So at ang importante siguro pong i-legislate natin is the digitalization of the board exams. Kasi kung
Why?
digitalize, the digitalization will make it more frequent. Kasi like for example, marami pong board exam ngayon na twice a year lang nangyayari. But
Oh,
if
totoo yun.
it is digitalized, mas mapapabilis natin yung supply. And the schools will really have to be more enabled. Ayoko kasi Sir Sito na masyado yung regulation, mas gusto ko yung
Mhm.
enabling environments. For example, may proposition po ako na pinresent sa Philippine Nurses Association conference the other day that yung mga centers of excellence and centers of development among the colleges of nursing will have to be the ones to open their doors to review, not to give reviews for those who graduated from elsewhere and those who have failed many times. That's even contrary to what my business is,
Eh,
review center.
laban laban sa negosyo mo yun, mawawalan ka ng negosyo.
I don't mind, Sir Sito, basta ma-improve natin. Kasi yung negosyo ko naman po hindi lang
Mhm.
nakasalalay sa review. Pero this is
Oo.
going to be more important. Imagine kung ang doors ng UP, UST, Silliman University, St. Paul magbubukas for the other.
Batangas State University, Center
Yes.
of Excellence din yun.
Ang dami po mga centers of excellence and centers of development. It's really a society being so involved with improving our supply chain for
Oh.
healthcare in general, Sir Sito. And this is
Pero
not nursing.
Carl,
Mm.
yeah, Carl, hindi ba mas maigi kung i-share na lang ng mga centers of excellence, share their curriculum, their system with those nursing schools that do not have more than 30% passing results for their graduates, because pag tayo puro review, you're merely remedying the
Yeah.
problem of those who didn't pass, but we are not fixing the failures of those that raised them up and educated them.
That's correct, Sir Sito. It's part of my agenda, in fact. Merong
Okay.
community extension responsibility ang mga centers of excellence and development. And Sir Sito, I don't want to talk about nursing lang in general.
Yeah,
Kasi
yeah. We'll go to your other program, Carl. Pero pasensya ka na, malapit
opo,
sa puso ko ito. May pinapaaral pa akong isa pang nurse ngayon eh.
opo,
Alam
naku,
mo, nayayamot ako talaga pag dehado yung mga bata eh.
opo, tama naman po kayo. Alam mo, Sir Sito, for example, yung responsibility kasi ng mga centers of excellence and centers of development, yung meron silang
Mhm.
extension service. In fact, it's part of my proposition. It's in my paper. I can send it to you right after the show. Na
Okay.
we have to really collaborate. And the collaboration happens much easier now in the digital age na yung faculty need not to travel. In fact, nakakatuwa ho ngayon, even our nurses, our Filipino nurses overseas are now becoming faculty of the colleges of nursing and other
Mm.
courses as well. I think the acceleration of the digitalization in education is working for our advantage, Sir Sito. Kasi yung technology, for example, has removed the limitations of time and space. And,
Yeah.
and this is something that can be done. It's just a matter of really bridging. There has to be a lot of bridging. Alam mo, Sir Sito, may malaking challenge pa dito ha. Maraming nurses, remember nung mataas ang supply ng nurses, nagpunta kung
Yeah.
saan-saan. Nagpunta sila kung saan-saan. And if you are out of the profession for 10 years, you might be insecure to go back. And they are already license holders. You know,
Mm.
ang challenge ko naman po dito is the ANSAP, the Association of Nurse Service Administrators of the Philippines, to come up with a bridging program. Imagine if Heart Center, for example, or National Kidney Transplants Institute, PGH, will come up with a bridging program for all these na nawala na sa nursing to retrain, and refocus their competencies back to nursing. Madali po ang supply.
Pero Carl,
Makakabuti tayo marami.
babalik pa ba sila sa field of nursing, given that, I mean, I'm sorry to say this, Carl, pero being a nurse now, you have one foot in the grave, so to speak. Isang paa mo nasa hukay.
Kaya po dapat pasalamatan natin yung mga frontline heroes. Pero we cannot romanticize that heroism. Hindi po na ipapakain sa pamilya yon, ano. Ang
Yeah.
proposition ko po is hindi lang yung salary, Sir Sito. Kasi relatively yung mga nurses in government, maganda na ang sweldo nila. Ang
Umiiyak
napag-iwanan
na nga, umiiyak
ah,
na nga yung mga private hospital sa akin,
yun,
miya't miya eh.
yun ang problema po, yung mga nurses in the private sector. Kaya nga unless the government would subsidize some part of
Mm.
this. Kasi hindi naman natin pwedeng ipasa lang yan sa pasyente, yung cost ng increase in the salary of nurses. O kahit man lang po, sabi nga po ng Philippine Hospital Association, kahit man lang yung timely payment ng PhilHealth sa kanilang reimbursements. could already help them. Pero alam niyo naman,
You know,
by the millions.
Carl, I know you're respected in the field of entrepreneurship, no?
Mhm.
But I think you're one of the few young people I know. Malaki naman ang tanda ko kasi siya bata, no? You're one of the few people I know that has working experience of the reality of health. Sabi ko nga, baka, sabi mo kasi kanina, you have many other concerns. But matagal ko lang sinasabi na dapat itong healthcare worker sector must be properly represented, not just for salaries and compensation, but also the training, education, and a continued education. Katulad mo, ikaw maswerte ka, may continuing education ka.
Ang
Would
tawag po dyan
focus on that.
positive practice environment, Sir Sito. Yun nga po matagal
Ah,
nang wala tayong one flabier in the Senate. And that's why, by the way, may pushers are the doctors, Sir Sito, and the hospitals. Giving recognition to the medical leaders, the nursing leaders, and the hospital leaders, even including
mm.
Dr. Almora of the Philippine Hospital Association. They really encourage me to run kasi po yung winnability of just a health professional may not be enough. I happen to belong to other sectors. Kaya yung
Yun nga,
winnability
yun nga ang problema, Carl. Kilalang kilala ka bilang media
uh,
broadcaster. Kung nadinig nila yung kaalaman mo at yung dunong mo regarding nursing, healthcare, and education, I think they would have a better appreciation of you. Parang si Monsur del Rosario. Pagkakaalam sa kanya, artista, karatista, pero nung nagkwento na siya tungkol sa legislative program niya at saka yung kanyang yung gapang through the positions in legislation, many viewers said okay naman pala yung batang yan. So like you now, you are a real expert. And I like what you said, yung bang it's been a long time na walang one plabier sa Senado. Ngayon, ano ang primary legislative agenda mo in terms of health? And after that, we'll go for a break and then we'll talk about the other things. But what would be your number one legislative agenda?
I want to start with what we have already. Meron na tayong universal health law, and the oversight function of the Senate will have to come into the picture. And number two, the budget, Sir Sito. Ang ganda-ganda universal health law. It's in fact very ideal. But of course, again, execution is another thing, and execution would come from the oversight. And number two, the budget. And of course, alam nyo naman that the most important legislation that we do every year is the budget. We have to look into that. Number two, I'm proposing for the omnibus healthcare workers positive practice environment act. Medyo mahaba. But I want to call it omnibus kasi hindi po pwedeng isang sector lang na, nagsusulong yung mga nurses, yung mga midwives, yung mga barangay health workers. But we really have to have an omnibus one kasi po may danger tayo na ma-siphon out ang ating mga health professionals by the world who would prefer them over the other nationalities. Magagaling kasi talaga po yung ating mga professionals. So we have to look into a bigger picture beyond salary, and we call it the positive practice environment, yung kanilang career progression, and hindi lamang yung pagsusuot nila ng mga protective gear pag sinabing positive practice environment. PPE din po kasi yon. But it's really more on the career path, yung kanilang working environment, yung kanilang security, both in public and in private. Alam niyo, yun lang po ang matingnan natin, Sir Sito. It took a pandemic for the Philippine society and the government to realize kung gaano ka-importante ang mga health professionals who for the longest time were neglected. Sir Sito, ang pinakang malala na nakita ko dito in my listening tours all over the country, yung barangay health workers. Mas nakakaawa po sila. Alam
Okay.
niyo kung bakit?
Carl,
Sir, yes.
let's go for a quick break. Pagbalik natin, pakikwento mo nga yung state of barangay health workers na yan. Because nobody talks about that, and I have to confess, I'm guilty. Kasi hindi ko rin nakikita masyado yan dahil alam mo, medyo may gulang na ang Kuya Sito, takot nang naggagagala. Okay, we'll go for a quick break. We'll be right back with Carl Balita. And malaman nga, bakit Carl Balita ang pangalan mo talaga? Bang pangalan mo yan? We'll go for a break here on Agenda. Okay, welcome back to the program agenda. And today we feature senatorial aspirant, media personality, and frontline healthcare workers review magnate, Carl Balita. Okay, Carl, matanong ko lang, no? Yung Carl, palagay ko talagang pangalan mo yan. Yung
Carlito yan.
Balita ba, pangalan mo ba talaga yan?
Opo, ay lahing Batangas po ito na lumaki sa Mindoro. Yung Carl po,
Ah,
Carlito po yan. Medyo baduy yung Carlito. Ginawa namin Carl nung college. Yan, yung totoo pong pangalan ko yun.
oh,
Mga lahi po namin nagmula sa Batangas and lolo ko napadpad sa Mindoro at doon na po ako lumaki. Doon ako nag-high
ayun.
school, went to Manila.
Okay, kanina, quickly na lang kasi kabisado mo naman itong kabuhayan natin,
Mm,
mabilis lumipas ang oras.
napakabilis lang.
Yung sinasabi mo kaninang state of barangay health workers, ano yung nakita mo na medyo nalungkot ka?
Kasi sila po yung bala sa kanyon, sila po yung frontliner sa community. Halimbawa, pag may nag-positive sa isang barangay, isa po sila sa pumupunta doon. Alam mo, malungkot doon, Sir Sito, wala sila sa
Hmm.
plantilla ng government. Ang allowance nila, very volatile, no? At napopoliticize. Ang suggestion nga natin dyan, kung talagang seryoso tayo, lalo na ngayon may mandanas sa ruling na magpapataas ng resources ng ating local government, there has to be some limited plantilla position for barangay health workers under the midwife na umaaray din po kasi alam nyo ang midwife patagal-tagal ng salary grade 9 yung mga yan. Ang dapat po nating mapansin, hindi lang po yung nag-iingay, pero meron po mga tahimik na mga workers na kailangan po nating ma-address. Tsaka Sir Sito, alam mo,
Oh,
just if you really want to see the big picture of this, pag sinabi nating health workers kasi and frontliners, di ba ang una-una po sumasalubong sa atin sa ospital ay mga security guards, may
mm,
mga orderly tayo doon. Ang
mm,
importante rin ho, makita natin yung kanilang interest, yung kanilang benefit, at yung kanilang protection and safety.
mm.
Dapat po, kasi nakakakita ko po as a health professional, pag pumupunta ang ospital, some of the security guards may not understand how to protect themselves. And at least yung orderly, ano yan, natitrain po yan. Marami po tayong dapat tignan. Kasi if we really need to prepare for the next pandemic or in the other health crisis in the future, kailangan matuto tayo ng best lessons from this very hard learned decision of this pandemic, the COVID pandemic.
Okay. Okay, well, moving on, puntahan naman natin yung dalawang mo pangke ng mabilisan. Meron ka ng kalusugan. Ano naman itong kabuhayan? What are you going to push for under kabuhayan or entrepreneurship?
Opo. Sir Sito, but forgive me, kailangan ko lang po ma-mention doon sa kalusugan natin. Napakalaking issue po ng mental health because halos kalahati ng Pilipino kailangan siguro ng some mental health approach now kasi yung post-traumatic stress disorder po talagang hindi lang natin nararamdaman but it's one of the serious problems we're facing right now. Anyway, kabuhayan po. Alam niyo yung 20 years ko po sa DZMM na nag-i-interview ng mga micro enterprises. I fell in love with them. And the 99.5% ng enterprises natin sa Philippines are MSMEs. Alam niyo,
Mm.
89% po dyan are micro.
Oo.
Mapapansin natin, bakit walang medium halos? Bakit wala halos medium? Yung medium po ay halos negligible, wala pang 1%. Ang nakita ko pong point dyan is kasi hindi natin napapalaki yung micro. Sir Sito, I'm proposing for a micro enterprise commission na number one, na mag-i-integrate ng lahat ng government services for them. And number two, mag-enable sa kanila so that they can move up to the next level. Kasi ang employment generator po natin are the MSMEs. At 89% are micro. If we're able to help the micro become small and the small become medium, magugulat po tayo that our economic activity will be better. Ano po
Alam
ang
mo,
kailangan?
Carl,
Yes.
Carl, pag ikaw naging senador,
Hmm.
pakiusapan mo na lahat ng investigative reporter ng Channel 2, Channel 5, Channel 7 para imbestigahan lahat yung mga government agencies na yan. Kasi lalo na sa lokal. Kasi
Mhm.
sinulat ko sa column ko today,
Mhm.
bibili ka lang ng lupa, kailangan mong pumunta sa 4 na opisina sa Batangas Province, kailangan mong magpapalit-palit, etc. Eh, yan pang sinasabi mong micro na yan, areko po, kailangan, puputi ang buhok mo dyan, bata, sinasabi ko sa iyo.
Alam nyo, yun lang matulak natin, Sir Sito. Kasi ang problema, hindi natin naiintindihan yung ganung level eh. Alam niyo yung
Oo.
digitalization, nagawa nga ng Shopee ng Lazada. Hindi natin magawa in government. Alam niyo, ang pinakamasakit dyan, yung vaccination cards nga natin eh. I mean, nakasulat sa papel tapos may sticker na pwede namang i-digitalize na. How much more yung transaction? Alam mo, Sir Sito, yung isang micro-enterprise, pag inalis mo sa trabaho niya yon, and entrepreneurs rather, pag inalis mo siya sa trabaho niya, malaking kawalan sa kanya maghapon. Ito nasa Sunday market ako kahapon, maikwento ko lang.
Oo.
Nagtanong ako doon sa isang nagtitinda sa Sunday market, magkano iniipon niya para makapag-renew siya ng mga permits niya in 2022. Alam mo, Sir Sito, maaawa ka. Kailangan niya ng mga 15 to 20,000. Can you
Para
imagine
lang
that?
sa permits, ha?
Puhunan na yun. I mean,
Eh,
alam mo, sa ibang bansa po, wag mong galawin ang micro-enterprise. Palakihin mo, tsaka mo siya galawin. Tsaka mo siya, pero nakakaawa po ang micro. Lalo na ngayon na may krisis.
oh, maganda yung sinabi mo, Carl. Kasi kung gagawin mo talagang patakaran yung wag mong galawin ang micro, ibig sabihin yan, pre-registration, lahat dapat libre. Hindi yung magbabayad ng business permit, magbabayad ng permit to operate, etc., etc. Kasi micro nga kaliit-liit na, pinagkakakitahan pa ng lokal na gobyerno at ng national.
Oo, alam nyo, ang ganda sana ng enabling capacity ng mga micro-enterprises. Pero kailangan ma-embrace nila yung adaptive business pivot na kailangan. Alam nyo, sayang po ang opportunity ng mga survival entrepreneurs, ang tawag ko sa kanila, Sir Sito. Yung nakapagsimula ng negosyo kasi nawalan ng trabaho, kung hindi
Correct.
sila matutulungan, kasi ang hahanapin na naman nila later on trabaho, ang hindi nila na-realize, na may nasimula na sila na mas kikita sila ng mas maganda kung matutulungan lang sila at matututunan nila yung adaptive business environment like e-commerce, digitalization. I'm sure, Sir Sito, nag-order ka sa hindi mo kilalang restaurant, delivery.
Hindi.
Hindi. Ang dami hong ganyan Ang dami hong ngayong mga marami hong nabuhay na kailangan lang nila
Oo.
mag-adapt. Kailangan nila
Aba,
mag-adapt.
ako nga yung kontra-kontra dyan sa mga digitalization dahil Jurassic ako bandang huli. Paki-order nga sa Lazada, paki-order nga sa Shopee. Puro na. Hindi ako umu-order, puro ako utos.
Ayun.
Anyway.
Pero alam niyo at saka isa pa, ang daming magagandang programs. DOST, I have to commend DOST. Sobrang gaganda ng program nila for the micro-enterprises. Pero kailangan ma-integrate ito at maging accessible.
Pero sana, Carl, whatever the outcome, I do hope you make it to the Senate, even by the skin of your teeth. I do hope you do it. But whatever the outcome, wag mong bibitawan yan. Kasi ngayon ko lang nadinig yung konsepto na noli me tangere the micro entrepreneurs or micro businesses. Kasi yan ang nagbibigay ng trabaho, nag-deliver na bumibili ng materyales. They are the principal sila yung linchpin, materyales, trabaho, movement sa kanila. Pagkatapos pinagkakakitahan pa ng gobyerno, hindi dapat kasi tingnan mo, katulad ako, nagsubok ako mag-piggery, tinama ng ASF, lugi. Ngayon, nagsubok ako pumasok sa pagpapa-game foul, tinigil naman ang sabong. So, wala. Lugi na naman ako. Magpo-poultry ako. Ganun din. Bakit? Kasi tumaas ang feeds dahil walang suporta doon sa mga taong gustong magnegosyo. Puro, bayad ka ng rehistro, bayad ka ng fee, etc. So anyway, bago tayo maubusan ng oras, brother, yung karunungan, ano yung karunungan mo?
Karunungan. Ako lang po ang tumatakbo na 3 lisensya. Isa sa lisensya ko dyan, licensed teacher po tayo at doctor po ako of education. Ang gusto kong tignan dito, Sir Sito, yung teachers. Alam nyo, if we want to attract the best and the brightest, we have to provide them good salary. Ibigyan ko kayo ng example. Ang salary ng teachers sa government muna tayo, huwag na nga yung private muna pero kailangan, para lang may benchmark tayo, may number. Salary grade 11 po sila. Anong ibig sabihin ng 24,000? Okay, ang
Mm.
sundalo po 29,000 ang entry level. We're talking of entry level, no? Alam niyo po
Oh.
ba na ang teacher sa Thailand na ina-attract nila among the Filipinos kahit walang lisensya, 30,000. Ang domestic helper po sa Hong Kong, ang base salary 37,000. Ano po pinapakita ko dito? Yung 24,000 na nakukuha ng teachers will not attract the best and the brightest para pumunta doon. At hindi po hindi natin may paparamdam ang halaga nitong mga professionals na gumagawa ng ibang professionals kung hindi natin sila bibigyan ng tamang sweldo at tamang benepisyo. I think we have to look into that
Well,
primarily po.
okay, medyo naubusan na tayo ng oras, Carl. Pero kung ikaw ay makapasok sa Senado, tayong dalawa ay mag-upo nga. Kasi biruin mo
Yeah.
ang pinaggagastusan ng pera sa gobyerno, Christmas decor, Christmas light. Kagabi, galing ako sa may airport eh. Biruin mo yung isang building ng airport siya tayo eh. Mas marami pang borloloy ng Christmas kaysa sa dun sa commercial center. Pagkatapos, kadami-dami na mga sasakyan ng every barangay. Walang pagparadahan, bili ng sasakyan. Pero yung mga teacher, mga barangay health workers, hindi binibigyan. Ay, ikaw pala, tumatakbong senador, hindi ako. Carl, thank you
Dapat
very much for your
dapat
time.
modify nga po ipabitid kaysa ano eh. Sir, sabihin ko lang ang
Yeah.
urgent talagang legislation ko is yung EDCOM 2.0, yung Educational Commission. Pag nangyari na po ng 1990 yan, yan ang dahilan kung bakit na trifocalize. Meron tayong CHEDEP, ED, and TESDA. We need to go to EDCOM 2.0 dahil kailangan po nating ma-check yung benefits of the EDCOM 1, kailangan nating matignan yung Industry 4.0 at ang effect nito sa edukasyon. Number 3, K-12, kailangan ma-review natin yan more comprehensively kung talagang may napala tayo. And number 4, yung pong disruption brought about by this pandemic na ayokong tawaging haharap tayo sa new normal. Ang tawag ko po dyan, better normal. Because we have the opportunity to actually change and improve. I wish that the public will also choose for new candidates na meron pong opportunity makapagsilbi in that level of science na madalas po nawawala sa atin sa legislation.
Okay, Carl, umikot ka na sa lahat ng kaibigan natin sa media at ganyan ka magsalita para maintindihan ng tao, hindi ka lang media, hindi ka lang broadcaster, meron kang laman dyan sa pagitan ng dalawang tenga. Okay, at may puso. Thank you very much, Carl, and
Thank you.
have a good day.
Thank you for the opportunity, Sir Sito.
Okay, yan po si Carl Balita and he has very good proposals. Here is our blessing for the week. Blessed are all who fear the Lord, who walk in obedience to Him. You will eat the fruit of your labor. Blessings and prosperity will be yours. Your wife will be like a fruitful vine within your house. Your children will be like olive shoots around your table. Yes, this will be the blessing for the one who fears the Lord. May the Lord bless you from Zion. May you see the prosperity of Jerusalem all the days of your life. May you live to see your children's children. Peace be on Israel from Psalm 128. I'm Sito Beltran thanking you for joining us on Agenda today. And please keep it here on One News PH. Have a good day. God bless all of you.